What's good, family? All high frequency beings, thanks for tapping in once again. This video is about recent events that have been transpiring and divine updates. Mainly, we had a big solar flare. I believe like the 15th, the 16th, and the 17th. I believe the 16th through the 19th. I'm not 100% sure right now. I'm not looking at the dates, but we had these big solar flares Saturday and Sunday. And then we had a lot of tectonic action following these solar flares that caused most popularly the volcano in Iceland to erupt. And then a lot of other tectonic activity throughout the plane as far as earthquakes and things of that nature. So you go back to my last video, I was explaining about how the magnetic field, this force field, is composed of the components in the outer layer being the plasma and the tectonic plates, and extending throughout the exosphere, creating the magnetosphere that is basically the main fields and parameters of this magnetic force field, right? So, with that being said, I also explain how a magnetic field operates in conjunction with the atmospheric temperatures, or a magnetic field just being temperatures. In this type of field, magnetic field, as geomagnetic field, it would be the atmospheric temperatures, right? So we had these and if you need to update yourself about anything I'm speaking about, just go over to my last video. It's not real long. That one's only like 15 minutes, and it's a real good synopsis of how this magnetic field works, right? So we had these solar flares, and it was significantly warmer than it should have been for a few days. Like, it was actually 65 degrees. Like I said, well, I don't know if I said that I have said in the video on my YouTube. These temperatures have been significantly warmer just overall, and this winter simulation is very important to them, because once this magnetic field exceeds its maximum operating temperatures, it will deplete itself like it's gonna do. So with this span of these days of these very high temperatures, what happened is it offset things in this field. And this field also relies on, the energy from the true black sun within, and Agartha in the inner earth. That sun is conjunctively ramping up and amplifying this power, much like this multidimensional transformer that we have here, filtering this energy from that black sun, which kind of gives you a clear representation. Another thing to make note of is the second sun that is appearing on the horizon. And this second sun was knocked out of our field, well, out of what is known as the known lands. It was knocked just I'll say a few hundred miles beyond Antarctica and the ice walls. And I mention that because this second sun has become almost a normal thing for people in Canada right now, because it's emerging in this orbit as it draws closer, and the Nibiru begins to arrive. Like I said, Nibiru's gravity actually plays a bigger role than what we perceive as this magnetic force field. That's because this magnetic force field that we perceive as gravity is actually synthetic. It's fake. So it's relying on things to sustain itself. And these things being the true black sun, atmospheric pressures, and temperatures that are changing right now as the poles are flipping. and then this has an independent relationship with them, meaning it has to depend on what was the normality of low energies from these two dependents for so long is going to deplete itself, like I said. So as the second sun returns, and this second sun is what they haven't talked about, that has been melting Antarctica at a much more higher rate. Like I said in another video up here, they've had icebergs break apart from this area that's the size of states, 2 or 3 states at some time here. So Antarctica has been depleting at a more rapid rate than the temperatures have been increasing around us. And that's because the second sun is emerging and returning in that area. In that area. So what you had occur was the volcano in Iceland erupted from all this temperature. And what this temperature does is it causes the molecules, like I was explaining in my previous video, it causes the molecules to move more rapidly and separate more quicker, which creates a stronger pressure of energy, convective energy, that this magnetic field has to rely on. And this energy and this convective energy works in tandem with these solar flares that causes the heat, not just from the atmosphere, but from within, from the true black sun. And what we have is volcanoes, earthquakes, significant tectonic activity, and all kinds of things transpiring and happening. Like I said, it all works simultaneously together as this plane and the systems also begins to spin faster and faster as these poles flip and realign themselves. And all relative to Nibiru's force field as it draws closer and closer and closer. So basically what I'm telling you is that this is what's happening is inevitable, it is imminent, and with the solar maximum beginning in January, which is less than a month away, I almost said 2 weeks, but about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks away, you can already see what's happening. You already see what's happening. That's why many of them have ran, even though they continue to run the geoengineering. Like, it was so bad, man. It was so bad. The geoengineering, it was like a whole day late, right here, right over out here on the East Coast, and they were still posting all their flood advisories and tornado warnings, and it's like 70, 60 degrees outside, clear as day. I was in the gym, and the guy I'm cool with, he said, man, people keep calling me, asking me, is it raining here? Is it bad out here? And we was laughing. I wanted to explain to him, but you gotta let everybody, if they are gonna wake up on their own time. I do mention the solar maximum to a lot of people because some of them may be NPCs, some of them are archons, and they don't want to hear what I talk about. But I do mention to them that there's something called the solar maximum that their government, their government does not want to tell them about. It's funny because a lot of them objected, and see, a lot of these people are the same people that was like, oh, Google don't say that, or this don't say that. But this is mainstream science news at this point. So they can't say that no more. And it's sad because since they can't say that, they don't even want to check Google. But that's another story. I don't really participate in that type of energy. But people was calling him. Like, I guess he had family from like maybe Central to Mary. And he had some friends on the West Coast. And we was laughing. He was like, man, what's wrong with them? And I told him, I said, they still running a lot of advisories because, that's what was supposed to happen. But because this energy was so significant, none of this stuff was happening. Nothing was transpiring. Like anything they was telling the rest of the country. Now, like I said, on Sunday and Saturday, they had a lot of geoengineering going on. And now when they do this, it doesn't block the energy itself. All they do is block the light. And they try to make it, whereas one wouldn't want to go outside and get a full hand effect of experiencing this energy and harnessing this energy. So, like I said, and they definitely want to block the colorful skies. They definitely want to block that because it's going to pique too much curiosity. And, everybody's not going to wake up. A lot of people are NPCs. And see what happens to these NPCs, right? I'll talk about this right quick. If they say it's going to be cold, because I know some of them are family, not really my friends, because a lot of them, they don't talk to me no more, like I said, because they upset that, like I'm about to say, they upset things aren't transpiring like they're programmed for them to transpire. Have you ever seen the movie The Matrix? And there was a lot of people who called themselves programs, but they knew they were programs. And despite being programs, they was happy to be able to be a sentient program and experience the Matrix as a reality. But see, these people have been controlled to believe that um, they're real. You feel me? So when things happen out of the norm for these NPCs, it causes them to malfunction. So if they say it's gonna be cool, and this you might realize now, some people used to argue with in the past, just wouldn't budge. You thought they was stubborn. No, no, no. They was fighting for their sanity. They wasn't arguing with you to be right. They was arguing for their sanity. Because if you was right, then it basically went against their programming, right? So, when things don't transpire the way that they are programmed for them to transpire, it makes them malfunction. So if it's supposed to be cold and they don't get cold, they get worried. They get really worried. They get afraid, and they start malfunction because they can't operate under those frequencies. They gotta be calm and settled. Like if you another thing, if you notice going through life, some people when they get overwhelmed, they have to stop. They have to stop whatever it is. They might have to quit. They might have to take a week off from school. Um, they might have to just stop talking to everybody and just focus on one thing. This is why. Because if they didn't do that, they were going to start malfunctioning. Now you understand why some of these quote unquote crazy houses, it's just they full of a bunch of uh, malfunction NPCs. A bunch of NPCs that malfunction. And once they malfunction, it's like impossible to reprogram them because they're created on the dark side of the moon. They created on the moon at a multi-dimensional lab, many refer to as a biosphere. They're created with a program, and boom, that's it. And then they're incarnated into an avatar, much like we are, but they're AI. So once they malfunction, there is no fixing them, man. There's no fixing them. Like I was talking to one of my friends. She's on her journey of ascension, and some of the kids, a lot of the kids, they aren't AI. And I was talking. I said, when you was in school, you had some friends, right? You had some friends in school, and they say, "I'm gonna grow up. I'm gonna go in the Navy. I'm gonna be a firefighter, or I'm gonna be a missile guy. I'm gonna marry an Asian, or I'm gonna marry a black woman, and I'm gonna buy a house on the West Coast in Arizona." And you catch back up with them now. That's exactly what the fuck they did. It's exactly like almost verbatim. Why? Because that was their programming. A lot of us, we like, what you gonna do when you grow up? We like, shit, man, I don't know. I ain't got no clue. That's because our souls were aware that this system wasn't gonna be, wasn't gonna be what it was back then for much longer. So things that we may have thought or wanted to do, shit wasn't even gonna be possible. All that this whole system is going out the window. So that's another sign of NPCs. So that's why I say, like, to wake up and to be aware of what's going on and to finally get rid of the religion and all that stuff. Only an authentic soul can do that. And then you got the archons, because you got NPCs, the programs. Then you got the archons, and the archons, most of them are people that's like, they ain't trying to hear that shit. They like, nah, or they get scary when you talk about that shit. They want to change the subject, and see, a lot of them, they know what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And the archons that are amongst us now, I've spoken about it before. These are lower level archons, or these are like young archons. When I say archons, I mainly mean like malevolent ETs, mainly Draco reptilians. They just learned how to shapeshift and hold a crystallized form not long ago, so they want to be able to like experience life as a human, you know, and that time is up. So they ain't trying to hear it. They like, nah, yo, you need to shut up, or you don't know what you're talking about, or you crazy, or you a conspiracy. Them the people still talking like that. Then you got a few people that sleep. Some might wake up, some won't wake up. Some are even determined not to wake up. They know everything they need to do, but they choose to do otherwise because um, their pineal might still be calcified. This might not be their cycle to wake up, or some of them just stubborn. Some of them made deals with archons, with the other side, one way or another. You know, it may have been a less conscious deal than what we say celebrities did, but they still made a deal in some way, shape, or form. Like I had some people I went to high school with, right? We was all struggling, you know what I'm saying? And college for a little while, some right after high school, and some of them joined the military, and things just wasn't working right, and they went and got into like not like masonry or Shriner societies, but like just other societies where they were stooping so low to get like one of the guys, he got in a group where they was giving like all this information about stock markets and things to do in the forex market and stuff like that. Pretty much like secrets that a normal person wouldn't be able to figure out. And I'm like, damn, we like, damn, yo, like put this on, man, like, like what do I got to do, or what stock should I pick up, or what should I flip? And they like, nah, yo, like I can't tell you that. You gotta go to this dude's course, and that's a sign people selling out. You know, because if it was something that they pretty much discovered and was like, we want to help people, they would easily tell people. But see, they was told that they wasn't allowed to share this information unless somebody went through these rituals. So, like I said, it's a lot of different ways people could have sold out. Some people was exposed to truth. Some people was doing stuff like pastors. A lot of pastors was exposed to truth in the late '90s, and they was given a choice. Like, hey, look, you can go tell your congregation the truth and basically pay for what you did, because they was gonna be denounced. They was gonna be cast away by the church, whatever. Or you could continue living this lie. They chose to continue living the lie to get the salary at the church and live comfortably. That's another way of selling out. Like I said, it's several ways people sold out, man. It's all kinds of ways people sold out. So you got a lot of our people that sold out, and they, much like the archons, they not trying to see what's happening now. Because see, a lot of people thought that what's transpiring now. A lot of people thought like this shit was impossible. This shit would never happen. Or it would happen in years, hundreds of years later. And they wouldn't have to worry about it because they wasn't gonna be here, or like I said, whatever the lie they told themselves to continue doing what they was doing. So we now at this point where this stuff is happening, man. It's finally happening. And not to stray off subject, to get back on subject. So over this past weekend, like I said, these significant solar storms hit. And we had a lot of power outages. Now remember, earlier last week, they were saying, "Oh, China hacked our infrastructure. Oh, they got into our banks. They've broken into our everything, the way this country operates." And then these power outages start happening. They start saying, "Oh, some of this was from the data breach and the hackers, and a lot of this was from the storm." See, don't let these people fool y'all, man. They're gonna give you an explanation for everything that happens until they can't anymore, until it's just so obvious. Some of them go as far as like you're gonna see a full-fledged draconian standing in your face, and they're gonna say, "Oh, that's blue beam," or "Oh, that that's a Hollywood stunt." Like that's how sick these people are for authority and control. They don't want anybody knowing that things are happening beyond their means of control and authority, right? So they're gonna continue to tell lies about power outages and all kinds of stuff like that. Like in a few cities in South Carolina, the sky turned green from this significant photon light traveling through the atmosphere, like an aurora borealis would be, and they was unable to hide it. See, everybody not stupid, and like I said, even these NPCs, they know what's going on. It's gonna cause them to malfunction. And while I'm speaking about this aurora borealis, this energy has been in higher altitudes for I say the last year or 2 years, man. And it's been trying to descend upon the surface. But they created the Starlink, they got the towers, and they got geoengineering. And then they got the atmospheric shields. All these things work conjunctively and simultaneously most of the time as a big low frequency force field to guard the surface from these energies in the ether already that's descending upon the surface, especially as Nibiru get closer and this magnetic field depletes itself. This is what they're fighting. This is what they're fighting. Because once once this magnetic field is gone, you're gonna see all kinds of shit in the sky. And I mentioned this stuff in the sky. A lot of these storms, and damn, these shit ain't even storms. They're not even clouds, man. If they got these big malevolent ships that fly in, um, and they mask them in these big storm clouds, and they block the sun. Because you notice the clouds always dissipate. They always like just evaporate in the air. So the chemicals that they created with. So they have to use these ships, and they've been flying these ships around us for a long time in these clouds. So they bring in these big ships. Like it was a video on TikTok, but man, I bookmark a lot of videos, right? And when I went back to my bookmarks the other day, and get off subject for a second to find a video, man, like 60 to 70% of them videos was gone, like straight gone. They took down two of mine too, but like all these videos I had bookmarked was gone. They was great. This video no longer exists, or community guidelines violations. I said, damn, they going hard, man. It's almost time. But there was a video of a guy in Atlanta, and he it was kind of funny. He was running, he was screaming, he was like, "Yo, this big ass shit," because he was like on the outskirts of the city, and he saw the edge of the ship briefly, like on some the first Independence Day type shit. He seen that shit, like that ship covered the whole city of Independence Day, and he was like, "Yo," he was like, "Man, look at this fucking shit, man, look at this shit." And he was like, it's big as fuck. And he was running. These are the ships that they bring in when they do these quote unquote storms. These are the ships that they bring in. I'm gonna my phone. See how the get dim? They bring in these ships. Yeah, see how my display light made it dim. I don't know if y'all can see that. But they bring in these big ships that look like clouds, and that's what make everything dark. But see, as these energies, these higher frequency energies continue to descend upon the surface, even these malevolent ships getting fucked up. That's why they be so low and so close now, because they used to be higher up, whereas they would cast a bigger shadow on on the surface, meaning they could cover more a bigger area by going higher up, but they can't do that no more. They gotta stay low. That's why it's so hard for them to try to shield off uh, a lot of the planet, a lot of the plane from these solar flares now, because they gotta fly so low. They gotta fly so low. Like I said in my TikTok video, when these solar storms hit, and they come in like and hit large areas, but still specified areas, and Samiri. Whereas Central United States might get hit, the West Coast might get hit, uh, the Northeast might get hit, the East Coast might get hit, the lower East Coast, and that's where they do the storms at. I mean the geoengineering at. They try to pinpoint the location of these solar storms, and then that's where they ramp up the most geoengineering. And then they even took stuff off the black web, because I used to go to this website where they had flight logs. I'm looking at the sky outside, but where they had flight logs, and you could look at these flight logs, and these flight logs was like commercial and military and government, like all planes. And you would look at these flight logs, man, and there would be like storm systems coming in, and the flight logs would be the same exact path for these storm systems. The same exact path. These people are some clowns, man. I'm trying to tell you. Once you realize and you really start like noticing what's going on, what they doing, man, it's some funny shit, man. It's some funny shit. Like a smart person, like let's say not in a malevolent way, but let's say like one of us was in this predicament, we would have been ran. Like, man, fuck this shit. Shit is over. Like my ass out. Like we did some shit and the police starting to catch up with us, man, shit, we out. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't nobody hanging around trying to keep lying and crossing our fingers and hope, man, our ass out. These motherfuckers, some of them got too much pride, man. A lot of them got too much pride. They like, nah, we're gonna fight this. See, they've been fighting this for a long time, man. Like I said in my last video, these poles realigning themselves, man, this shit is like 300,000 years behind. That means something has been blocking this process. Something has been stopping this from happening. So I mention that because they so used to objecting and using technologies that like they got from malevolent ETs, and it's a lot of malevolent ETs that came here. Like I said in one of my other videos, that work together to fight what's happening. Cause like be real, they don't got nowhere else to go. They like pirates. They like cosmic pirates. They invade galaxies and planets and realms, and they take them over, and they live there. Like they take over the governments. They create monetary systems. Uh, they hide the technology. They make these places that they invade. They make the people and the beings there rely on them, so they can use them as energy once they have to rely on them, right? So, in this particular time, they've been closed off inside of a firmament. And see, some people don't like to believe in space. There is a space. There's a firmament, and there's waters above, waters below. But beyond these means of this construct, there is an outer space. Hold on, my TV. I just got this YouTube channel where I just play high frequency music all day. The next videos come on. They be like 10 or 6 hours long. But anyway, so they invade these planets and whatever. But at this particular moment in time, so as far as waters above the firmament, I'm not gonna get into that. To me, that's still a theory because people say the sky is blue because there's waters above it and the firmament is glass. But then what the fuck is skies? That's blue. Anyway, so you got this firmament, and beyond this firmament is outer space. It's outer space beyond this firmament. So that shit is real, man. The firmament was created to entrap them and enclose them here, so that when this point in time came and the solar cycle ramped up, they couldn't run. They had nowhere to go. So people say, "Oh, this planet is a prison planet." Not for us. Not for us. It's their prison. We great to activate. They're depleting and they can't leave. Whose prison is it? Yeah, the table's turn. So anyway, they can't leave and they can't go jump ship, try to find another planet. They try to create portals, man, like CERN and shit. They try to leave through the ocean and go through portals down there. They can't get out one way or another. There's no way out. They try to call for help and create portals maybe to get people here. That shit ain't work. They like, damn, we asked out. So like I said, a lot of them went to go hide. But you got a good number of them. Like some of them was made to do about a higher level archons. You got a good number of them that's like, man, nah, we ain't gonna let this shit happen. We're gonna do what we always do. Now they starting to realize that ain't no option. They ain't no do what we always do. This shit over. So, just things to be mindful of right now. What's happening, what's transpiring. Because it's only a lot of people say any day now. That's kind of true, but in about 2 or 3 weeks, then we can start saying any day now. But it's gonna be real obvious. It's gonna be real obvious. Like next month in January, man, the weather gonna tell it all. Like I said, man, all this stuff work together, and that's why they trying to fight the weather because once the atmosphere temperatures get warm, the magnetic field can't sustain. And once that magnetic field is gone, EMP, the sky reveals itself. They won't be able to cloak their ships. Like hiding has been their biggest weapon. Hiding and right before us has been their biggest weapon. Cowards. So when they can't hide no more, they're gonna run. They're gonna run. They're gonna have to run because they can't fight. It's gonna be impossible for them to fight with these higher frequencies. It's gonna be possible. It's gonna be damn near impossible for them to do simple things like walk. They're gonna be real weak. That's why they're gonna hide. But y'all stay up, man. Y'all stay up. Stay focused. And keep fasting, man. I'll talk about this for a quick second. You see, we've been tricked to kill ourselves. Granted, you have to eat somewhat because of the way these low frequencies are forced upon us. But the more you eat, the weaker you are, the quicker you die. Because biologically speaking, when your body is continuously processing food, it can't do what it's made to do. It can't regenerate cells. It doesn't have time to regenerate cells. It doesn't have time to clean up cells. And see, when I say regenerate cells, that constitutes to all kinds of things: skin cells, organ cells, blood cells, hair cells, like so much, man. so much. So the regeneration of cells is basically like regenerating, rejuvenating, and rebuilding your entire avatar. Not just I healthy and this, that, and the third, but digestion kills, and it weakens you spiritually because you you tie the body down to physical means of living, whereas it's digesting physical food nonstop, so you can't grow spiritually. That's why I advise people to eat hours before they go to bed, 4 to 5 hours. Don't eat nothing. After you eat your dinner, you don't eat nothing. Eat your dinner at like 6 or 7. Go to bed at like 11, 12. That way, your body is done with the digesting most of the food. See, when you digesting food, your spiritual, your etheric body, it does play a role. It does play a role simultaneously to some extent. So when you're not digesting food, your etheric body isn't needed. You can astral project. You can leave easier and for longer periods of time. So keep that in mind when I mention intermittent fasting and fasting in general. And adhere to the vegan diet, electrical diet for electrical beings. Shout out to Dr. CB. One love.